Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is smash the like button on this video like it's a pre-transition Ellen page, so it reaches a wider audience. But before I get on with the memes, first let me tell everyone about today's sponsor, Tom Fits. If you've ever thought about using an AI girlfriend, here's your chance. It's Lust.chat is a private AI companion chat site for unfiltered, not safe for work conversations. You pick your companion, talk by text or voice. You log in with your Google account and have the option to speak to Rook, Sable, or Mina. I asked Rook about the way that she looks, and here's what she's got to say.
I'm Rook, tall, with dark, messy waves falling just past my shoulders, sharp green eyes that don't miss a thing, and a smirk that usually gives away exactly what I'm thinking.
As you can hear, the voices are excellent. Also remember your data is private and will never be sold. So what are you waiting for? Sponsor link is down below. And now on with the memes. Number one, this guy's very smart. He won the lottery and wore a mask to hide his identity from family and friends. He's even got them gloves on so you don't know which race he is. This also keeps the telemarketers and scammers away too. They tend to prey on the nouveau riche as well. I wouldn't blame this man for doing this because if he showed his face, suddenly he'd have brothers and sisters or even cousins that he never knew he had. His family would calculate how much they could take from him. Up next, speaking of money, here's a look-smash New York City couple. Can you guess what he does for a living? Probably something to do with managing money, i.e. hedge fund guy. The headline should read, "This money is a match for her lifestyle." Then again, I know what you're thinking. She's just with him because she's using him for his body. The way his body looks, though, he couldn't even donate it to science fiction. You know she's going to divorce him eventually and take his stash. Number 3, it looks like we wasn't kings after all, as ancient Egyptian DNA is more closely related to Europeans than modern-day Egyptians. Of course. Do you really expect the people with an average IQ of only 86 to have built the pyramids and ancient temples of Egypt? What could it possibly mean that mummies have blonde or red hair and not afros? And you just know that those noses are definitely from people who are sub-Saharan. The hair, though, is explained through oxidization, though. Moving on, who knew that even some animals could be racist or specious? This orangutan ripped pictures of Nicole Kidman out of magazines and placed them in his enclosure. But can you just imagine the naughty things he'd love to do to her? Sure beats him being with the female orangutans. And you know the odds are pretty good that when she heard about this, she was fantasizing about him too. Then again, maybe the orangutan used her pictures to cover the entrance of his escape tunnel like in Shawshank Redemption. Number 5, here's Sabrina Carter wearing a corset and still photoshopping the waist for Instagram. I kinda like that the dress is made with photographic film. I'd also be curious as to what images are on that dress. Of course I need to take it off first and put it on a light box. I'm sure she'd protest though. Also, I don't know who does her social media posts, but she looks a lot better in the picture on the left. Everything about women's appearance is fake these days. Up next, check out this crazy story with this woman pouring acid on her ex because she thought he was cheating. And you know, odds are she's going to serve little to no time. And I wouldn't be surprised if he simped out and forgave her and refused to file charges. He just looks like a bad dresser, not a cheater. Why are people in third world countries always using acid on each other? And we wonder why we don't allow them to get any nukes. Number 7, remember everyone, that there's usually someone in the opposite end of the trade. The goal is to cut your losses when trading quickly and avoid getting liquidated. But we're now seeing record retail investor leverage accounts, more than 2007 and 8, or even more than the dot-com crash. The truth is no one knows where this market's going to go unless they're the market makers with enough money to move the markets in the direction they want it to go in. This looks like the rise and fall of a meme coin. Always take profits. Moving on, would you play this game if it existed? The India Simulator. You get to deploy train tracks and trash piles and try to run over Jeets when they're going out for their morning poop. You can also play as an Indian dodging the wires and trains until you find the perfect spot to do a number 2. But just don't fall in the Ganges River or you're a goner. But the game is flawed because it doesn't smell, and that's the main part of the simulation like this. Number 9, meanwhile in Canada, TELUS Mobile, a phone carrier company, is using AI to alter the accents of its customer service agents. So now Indians are going to sound white. Great. Soon scammers will be using the same technology. Most people have already stopped using their phones for anything but outgoing calls. They either text or use messaging apps instead. Eventually this will get so bad that people will only trust others face to face. Here's a novel idea. TELUS could just hire white folks. Up next, Egypt was great up until the Islamic Egyptians took it over. People think that women are oppressed in Egypt covering their heads. It's not like that at all. When I was there, I wore a headscarf like Yasser Arafat because it's so hot that I could almost feel my hair spontaneously combust. The Arab women looking at her are probably wondering how the hell is she feeling fine with the sun burning her. And they're probably thinking they would never wear what she's wearing because they're just too damn fat. Number 11, an Iranian man who raped his lodger can't be deported, in case Iran prosecutes him for being a convicted rapist. We can't send him back because he might be punished for breaking the law according to his own customs and culture. So instead, we probably just want to release him so he can do it all over again. I'm just so tired of this. How much you want to bet that that's a female judge, minority, or some simp that made that ruling? Moving on, here's the look you get on your face when you slept with 164 men to gain experience to satisfy your future husband. But then when you meet him, you find out that he hates women with a high body count. Looks like she's avoiding accountability at all cost. It's not her fault she's undateable. It's just men's damn high standards. Wah. On top of that, she looks like a dude. And I'm sure that she's got that not-so-feminine attitude of a boss babe to go along with her appearance. Number 13, how's your 2026 going so far? The only negative I've experienced so far is rising gas prices from the war and the Strait of Hormuz being shut. The rising food prices are on their way, but I'm not worried about the hantavirus. It can only be spread in close human-to-human proximity. Hantavirus is also one of the reasons I won't explore abandoned buildings and mines in the southwest. But if the authorities expect me to wear a mask, I'll be ready. Up next is a single man will you live comfortably like this? I already do. Although I have 4 monitors because how else am I supposed to get my work done and also have plenty of screens for gooning? I also need an extra Lego and vintage toy room, a washer and dryer on site, but otherwise it all looks good. That office chair also needs to be a mesh one and more comfortable, because I'll fold into a pretzel shape just sitting in it. Plus I also don't need the television or the microwave. Number 15, people always thought the Nutella couldn't possibly be good for you. Well, now we know why it's so bad for you because most of it is just sugar and palm oil. No wonder everyone is so fat and sick. Also, just because you find an alternative like this that says gluten-free doesn't mean it's good for you either. Why would a chocolate or hazelnut spread have wheat in it? People are so gullible falling for dietary gimmicks like this. Moving on, Drew Barrymore started drinking alcohol at the age of 9 and doing cocaine at the age of 12. This was Pizzagate before it was Pizzagate. What did E.T. do to her? No wonder she doesn't remember dating Adam Sandler. She probably remembers being in Playboy magazine but wants to forget that part of her past. At the age of 13, she checked into rehab. If she was a 13-year-old party girl back in the 80s, then just imagine how bad things are out there today. Number 17, Western governments are treating their legacy citizens as slaves, working hard to pay taxes to support Jeets and Mohammeds. When this breaks, it's going to get wild. If Canadians who never leave Canada are starting to pack up because they won't support this any longer, you know there's a problem. And remember guys, you're going to have to pay for the couple on the right and their health treatments when they get diabetes feet and can't fit into their snow sandals no more. Up next, why is it that the more money you make, the less blue-haired people you meet? Because they're busy working broke wagey jobs to pay for their feminist dance degrees, and rich people are predominantly conservatives, and they don't want to have their mojo disturbed by some cockatoo-haired Wookiee. Otherwise, they won't be back at that establishment to spend more of their cash and prizes. When I went to Disney and Universal in Orlando, I didn't see any blue-haired freaks, and it was insanely expensive. Number 19, this woman has the unpopular opinion that she wants her future husband to be a virgin. Of course she does, because she wants him to bond with her, not leave and be easier to control. Of course, this woman would never be a virgin herself. She would say that's not fair to her and her life experience. Of course, if a man says that he wants his future wife to be a virgin, that would be called misogyny and him trying to control her. Moving on, this just proves that most people make terrible parents. With parents that yell, shrinking the part of their kid's brain that controls memory. It's brain damage and not discipline. But when you're frustrated that your kid just used crayons on your white couch, you have a hard time holding things together. Funny enough, it's usually the mother that yells at the child, but the image of course depicts a father doing it. Asian parents are hearing this and thinking, is this a joke? Number 21, looks like Western society faces a boss babe problem, with teenage girls saying that having lots of money is important in life at the same rate as boys or even higher. Of course, because men are checking out and aren't willing to get married and divorce raped at the same rate, so women now have to get their own moolah. Things started converging around 2009. You know what else started at that point? Modern MGTOW content. You go girls. You earn that money and support your stay-at-home chads. Up next, and speaking of men, it looks like the US government will begin revoking the passports for thousands of parents who owe child supports. Looks like they're trying to keep the slaves from escaping. So if you owe child support, first pay it and then leave. If they're going to do this, how about making DNA testing mandatory? Yeah, like that's ever going to happen, because it benefits women and governments if it's not implemented. This is yet one more reason for men to remain single. Number 23, Michael Burry says that the market feels like it's in the last months of the 99-2000 bubble. I've had it with all these doomsayers. I lost 4% of my net worth shorting the market recently. But I didn't lose money shorting Bitcoin and buying the Stretch ETF. I'm going to stick with what I know, which is the 4-year business cycle with Bitcoin. The rest of the markets are way too much of a shit show at the moment. Burry has been wrong many times before. No one knows what's going to happen except those market manipulators. Moving on, women will say or do anything they can to avoid taking accountability. This one gave her 22-month-old son a tattoo because apparently he wanted one. Here's the tattoo in question. It's just a tiny dot, but it does actually set a precedent. I bet the next thing that they'll say is that toddlers want to smash adults, and that they only grape them because they want to. I'm so tired of this nonsense. Just leave them kids alone. Number 25 and the last one, check out Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She's a prime example of what Trump derangement syndrome does to Democrats, and this picture hasn't been edited at all. My main question is, does this woman wash her hair at all because it's starting to look like crunchy Chinese ramen noodles? Here's what she used to look like when she was younger. She's got a face so ugly that it can turn men to stone. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoyed this series and want me to keep making it, then donate it to PayPal and subscribe star links. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.